So far this season, things seem to be going well between Red Bull drivers Max Verstappen and Sergio Perez. Team principal Christian Horner once called the relationship between the two drivers the best he has ever seen at the team. However, things are beginning to change, and tension is beginning to build up between Red Bull's teammates. Why is that so? Stay tuned to find out. The Brazilian Grand Prix is being named one of, if not the best, race of the 2022 F1 season, with it being full of drama, action, and now anger. George Russell and Lewis Hamilton took a 1-2 finish for Mercedes, and we saw fireworks erupt further back the pack. After getting into a collision early in the race, Verstappen and Lewis Hamilton of Mercedes reignited their long-standing competition during the contentious Grand Prix. For triggering the accident, Verstappen was given a penalty of 5 seconds, but he accused Hamilton of having no intention of leaving him space to race. Hamilton denied these allegations. In addition, the reigning world champion stated, "I was not happy with the punishment." The statement that Hamilton made was that he was not concerned. He continued by saying, "What can I say? You already know how things are for Max." But that wasn't even the main talking point. What happened between Max Verstappen and his teammate Sergio Perez was what got everyone talking. After Max Verstappen disobeyed his team's orders to let Sergio Perez through on the final lap of the Brazilian Grand Prix, Sergio Perez stated how he felt, and it was evident that he was under a great deal of frustration. Red Bull boss Christian Horner indicated before the race that he might look to impose team orders to help Sergio Perez in his fight to secure second in the championship. After the final safety car period, Perez was on the back foot on the medium compound, with both Ferrari drivers quickly overtaking him before Fernando Alonso also picked him off. Next up was Verstappen with just a few laps remaining, and Red Bull initially said the Dutchman would be allowed through to chase Alonso and Charles Leclerc. However, Verstappen could not advance any further up the grid. This led to Horner coming on team radio to demand that Max give Perez back the position. The 2022 Formula 1 champion chose to ignore the advice and kept his foot on the accelerator pedal all the way to the finish line, where he finished ahead of his teammate. When asked what happened, Verstappen responded, "I told you already last summer. You guys don't ask that again to me. Are we clear about that? I gave my reasons and I stand by it." Verstappen's strong stance didn't sit well with Perez, who took aim at his teammate on team radio. He said, "It shows who he really is." While the drivers were doing their warm-up lap, Horner himself got on the radio to commiserate with Perez. He said, "I'm sorry about that, Checo." Perez's race engineer Hugh Bird added, "We'll debrief everything afterwards." In the drivers' ranking, the Mexican would have gained 2 additional points if the switch had been made. As things stand, Perez will head to Abu Dhabi, tied for second place on the point standings with Ferrari's Charles Leclerc. The Ferrari team decided not to switch Leclerc with Carlos Sainz, who was in 3rd place after Sunday's race. Therefore, the Monegasque driver came in 4th overall. You're enjoying this video, right? You definitely don't want to miss out on other amazing videos. So all you have to do is hit the subscription button. It's that easy. Thanks for doing that. Let's move on. The tension between the two Red Bull drivers is fascinating because it has clearly been building for some time. The dispute is said to have its roots in the Monaco race earlier this year. There, a crash caused by Perez during qualifying prevented Verstappen from competing for pole position. After starting in the pole position, Perez went on to win the race. According to the reports, Verstappen had not forgotten, and his unwillingness to pull over for Perez in Brazil on Sunday was payback. After the race in Brazil, Red Bull was observed engaging in a heated debriefing with their team. Horner then said afterward, "We discussed these things internally. For us, Checo is now tied on points with Charles. Ferrari didn't switch their cars around, and we go into Abu Dhabi to do our best to achieve that second place, and Max will do his best to support that. I am not going to go into what is discussed behind closed doors. Our objective is to try and get Checo to finish second in the championship. It's a straight fight between Checo and Charles, and if Max can help that in any way, he will do. Checo has done a phenomenal job all year, and he deserves that second place. As a team, we will do our very best to support that in Abu Dhabi. We discuss it as a team. We will discuss it as a larger group in the debrief later. The bigger discussion will be why we were missing the pace today. It's all dealt with above the table, and we move on." When Verstappen was asked about the reasons for his refusal to follow team orders, he responded by saying, "I have my reasons for not moving over. We just discussed that, and I think it was good that we finally sat together and talked about it." After the race, Perez was questioned in greater detail regarding Verstappen's disobedience of clear team orders, and it was evident that he was still furious with the Dutch driver. Perez was almost speechless as he faced the TV cameras. He said, "I was told to let him by and that I was going to get the position back. I don't know what the communications were with him on his side. When he was told that Verstappen had refused to give it back, he simply replied, 'After all I've done for him, I'm disappointed, to be honest.'
All I've done for him, it's a bit disappointed, to be honest.
I have no idea why. I'm really surprised."
I have no idea. I'm really surprised.
The Mexican added, "I'm very surprised. I don't know what happened, especially for everything I've done for him. I think he has 2 championships. It's thanks to me." Let's take a look at how Sergio Perez has helped Max Verstappen. After winning the Formula One World Championship in Abu Dhabi with his victory in the season's final race, Max Verstappen commented that he would not have been able to win the title without the assistance of his teammate. While that might sound like the usual platitude offered to a subservient teammate, it was a very specific tribute to 2 crucial laps in the Abu Dhabi, where Perez made a decisive contribution by delaying Lewis Hamilton. Without that, it's even possible that the controversial conclusion of the race might never have happened. Verstappen said, "I think without Checo, I wouldn't be sitting here right now, because then they would have had a pit gap with the safety car and stuff. So definitely, Checo was driving incredibly today." The significance of Perez's move, though, is not limited to the fact that he cost Hamilton approximately 8 seconds in his duel with Verstappen. Rather, the relevance lies in the effect that this had on the manner in which the race was conducted. At one point during the race at Yas Marina, it appeared that Lewis Hamilton had the race under control. However, after making his pit stop, the Mercedes driver emerged behind the Mexican driver Perez, who had prolonged his initial stint on the soft tyres. Although Hamilton made his move into Turn 6, Perez fought back with DRS to retake the lead in the re-profiled Turn 9. By the time the 7-time champion made his way past, his 7-second lead over Verstappen had been eradicated, taking away a strategic safety net in case of a virtual or full safety car period. This would transpire to be a disadvantage, as when Antonio Giovinazzi ground to a halt and triggered a VSC, Hamilton did not have a sufficient window back to the Red Bull driver to be able to make a pit stop and retain track position. Verstappen, conversely, was able to do so and, with fresh tyres, pulled back in towards Hamilton, ensuring Mercedes was unable to stop at the final safety car period without conceding position. After that race in Abu Dhabi last year, Perez said, "It was crucial at that time of the race. I knew that Lewis had the race under control. He had the virtual safety car windows pretty much open, and he could do whatever he wanted. I was on extremely old tyres. It worked well, and I'm happy I helped Max and the team. You don't want to interfere too much in the Drivers' Championship, but above anything, I will always help my team."
But it's my team. I've done it for my team.
But Max Verstappen wasn't willing to help the Mexican driver this last weekend. After what took place this past Sunday in Brazil, Helmat of Red Bull indicated that the air had been cleared between the drivers and that Verstappen would do everything in his power to assist his colleague in securing second place in the season's last race. Helmut Marko: "At Abu Dhabi, Max will do everything possible for Checo to get second place in the Drivers' Championship. Everything is cleared up internally. That's the goal for Abu Dhabi." As the F1 circuit heads to Abu Dhabi for the year's final race, Perez and Leclerc are knotted at 290 points each. With one race remaining, we'll see if Verstappen is true to his word. Or is Verstappen feeling threatened by the Mexican driver's recent comment about him being able to finish ahead of him next season? The Mexican driver said earlier this week, "Certainly I believe it. At the beginning of the year, if you look at it, I was matching Max. It's my second year with the team. I believe I'm getting stronger and stronger." What's your thought about this drama that happened between Max and Perez? Let me know in the comments section below. That will be all for today's video. Thanks for staying tuned. Please don't forget to hit the subscribe button and notification bell so that you can always get to watch more amazing videos like this. See you in the next video.